Hey everyone, how are you? This is Mike from Music City, and I've been following on YouTube some of these music fans who are going through the catalogs of some of their favorite artists and ranking the records, and they're doing it in reverse order, making comments as they go. And I thought I'd give it a spin with one of my all-time favorite artists, Elvis Costello, a quite prolific chap he is. I am looking at a stack of 29 CDs, and like most others do, I cut out the live records, the compilations, and things like that. And in Elvis's case, a few soundtracks that he's done. But there's quite a few to go through here, and I'm sure I'm gonna ruffle a few feathers with some of my comments. And as I went through this, and it's kind of hard with 29 CDs to make any kind of ranking. I mean, there's a lot of guessing that goes in, and it's hard to differentiate between some of them that minutely. And if I did this tomorrow, I'd probably come up with a completely different answer. So let's give it a try, and let's see what we come up with. The first one, I'm gonna kind of, not necessarily it's the worst. I'm just gonna kind of get it out of the way. And this is Il Sogno, which was a classical composition that he did with Michael Tilson Thomas and the London Symphony Orchestra. I'm just not a classical music person. It's really hard for me to comment on that. So let's just put that aside as number 29. Number 28, Costello was always one for collaborating, and some collaborations worked really fine. Some didn't work that well, and some didn't work at all. And this one here, For the Stars with Anne-Sophie von Otter, just didn't do it for me, and I'll put this at number 28. Anne-Sophie, a classical singer from somewhere in Scandinavia. I apologize for not remembering, but this one just didn't do it for me. Again, one of the things that I've sometimes struggled with Costello not liking is when he gets in his crooner mode, and maybe this record that's next at number 27 had a lot to do when he married Diana Krall and sort of maybe did this record a little bit in her style. And this is the record North, and I know a lot of my Elvis Costello fans love this record. It's just not one that I've ever warmed up to. Number 26, another one kind of in a different style. I think the intentions were good, and it just, I don't know, it just didn't really have any lasting hold to me. And that's Wise Up Ghost that he did with the fellow from Jimmy Fallon's band, It Escapes Me, Questlove. Not one that did much for me. Again, another collaboration. I had a lot of respect for the artist, and this had some moments, but the collaboration with Alan Toussaint, The River in Reverse, again, we're going to put at number 29, 28, 27, number 25. Number 24, a recent record. I know I'm going to get a lot of crap on this one. It's just a recent Elvis record that I really didn't get very far with, National Ransom. And right behind that at number 23, his most recent record, Look Now. I really liked the lead-off track, Under Lime, which kind of reminded me a lot of one of his greater albums, Imperial Bedroom. But other than that, just didn't do it for me. I think one of the things Elvis is finding lately is, I don't know, his voice doesn't seem to be what it used to be. And sometimes in his crooning, I think he just kind of he just loses me. Next, number 22, not a bad album here, recorded with a lot of my hometown friends here in Nashville, The Secret, The Profane, and Sugarcane, and he toured with a band called the Sugarcanes. Some good songs on here, and I think we're kind of getting into the realm where there's just so many records here, and I think from this point on, most of the things I'm going to like to some certain degree, but it just some have to be ranked higher than others. Number 21, Kojak Variety. A kind of a record with a funny history. He had some extra money in his budget to record some B-sides, and he took a great band that he was touring with the likes of people like James Burton and Jerry Sheff, who used to play with the other Elvis, and recorded a bunch of cover versions down in Barbados. Kojak Variety. Some really good stuff here. I went to the concert that they had in London, and it was such a shame Elvis's voice was shot, was broadcast on the radio, and was just very disappointing. But again, a lot of good cuts on here. So that now we go into the top 20. Now here's probably one of the best collaborations that he ever did, and this is the Painted Memory record with Burt Bacharach. You know, I think as time went on, I probably don't enjoy this now as much as I once did, but still, I think it's one of his best. He got his, I think his only Grammy Award, or maybe he got one later recently, but I know his first Grammy Award came for I Still Have That Other Girl. And again, you know, I was criticizing him before, making comments about being in crooner mode, but I think this is Elvis in his crooner mode at his best, and some really fine lyrics on this record. Number 19, one of the albums when he returned to the Attractions. I guess it was the first album when he returned to the Attractions back in '94. Brutal Youth, a good solid record. Some really good songs here. They were fantastic on all the live shows that I saw. You know, a good one coming in at number 19. I'm going to make a reminder. I'm just kind of noticing on the back that most of the CDs I'm holding are the Rhino reissues, and I know you might want to get things on vinyl, but even so, you still need to get these CDs. The bonus tracks are just the tons and tons of them are just fantastic. A lot of unique tracks and a lot of great alternate versions. Number 18, Almost Blue. This was a great attempt by Elvis, and I think he really did an excellent job of opening up country music to a lot of the closed minds of the people in the punk and new wave movement. And I think his singing and the Attractions playing on this was fantastic. Recorded here in Nashville with the great Billy Sherrill. a lot of funny stories about the recording of this record, but good solid record. He pays tribute to one of my other heroes, Graham Parsons, and a good solid record. Number 17, one of you know, I guess we kind of talk about recent records, and this is probably 10, 15 years old, but, you know, sort of in the later stages of his career, recorded here down in South, in Oxford, Mississippi, some in Nashville, I believe, too, Memphis. The Delivery Man, a good record. Got to see him try out these songs live at a small bar in Oxford, Mississippi. That was a lot of fun. But the Delivery Man, some really good cuts on here, some great playing by the band that's we now call the Imposters. Number 16, and this is a real sleeper. I think this is an album that didn't get a lot of attention, and I just think it's one of his best rock records and one of the best things he's done in the later stage of his career. Momofuku. I said that without stumbling. I think it's has to do with some kind of Japanese restaurant or something. At number 16, a good album, one I suggest that you check out. And funny, this album came out on vinyl, and it was quite some time after that before there was actually a CD version. Next, number 15, one of the reunion albums at the Attraction, All This Useless Beauty, sort of a collection of songs that Elvis had lying around for quite a while. They hold up really well. They seem to fit together quite well as a record, and again, some great playing, some great live shows around this record. Number 14, and this is a funny one. This is one that Elvis once at the time said it was his worst record that they ever did, and that's Goodbye Cruel World. And yeah, while I think the Alan Winstanley, Clive Langer production on this left a lot to be desired, there's some really good songs on here, and he premiered them first live solo, and the songs held up really well. Looking back, there's some great moments on this record, and I think it sort of gets a bad reputation as being a bad record. Number 13, again, I guess got about 20 years ago now. It seems like it's more recent than that. When I Was Cruel, just kind of a very interesting record for Elvis, again, with his later band, The Imposters, which, again, was just Bruce Thomas leaving the Attractions, being replaced by Davey Faragher on bass. Some really good songs here, some new things, new tricks he was playing in the live shows, playing with loops and recordings and stuff. When I Was Cruel, a good record. Getting to number 12, Mighty Like a Rose. Again, this was in between the Attractions and the Imposters, where he was working with other musicians. Lot of really good songwriting and singing on this record. A kind of a good variety. I think this is one that was a sleeper at the time and kind of holds up pretty well. Although he sure got a lot of crap for that Jerry Garcia beer, didn't he? Number 11, the record right before it, Spike. Kind of mixed bag of things. I think there's a few songs on here that I really kind of got tired of, but if you dig deep in there, there's quite a few good selections, and including the a couple that he wrote with Sir Paul McCartney. Now we go to the top 10, and when we get into this top 10 of Elvis, I mean we're talking seriously good stuff, and most of these records here I would give a 5-star rating to, and this is where it gets kind of very hard to differentiate. But number 10, something that I really give Elvis a lot of credit for. I think one of the most unique, special things that he's ever done, the Juliet Letters with the Brodsky Quartet. Just a really eloquent collection of well-written songs with a lovely theme, beautiful playing, beautiful singing. The live shows were just over the top, fantastic. I look at this thinking, boy, I'm due for a listen of the Juliet Letters, and this starts our top 10. Number 9, we mentioned the Clive Langer, Alan Winstanley production of Goodbye Cruel World. Before that, they did this one, Punch the Clock. And, this gave Elvis his first big hit in Every Day I Write the Book, that a lot of us know. But again, some other great songs in here. I mean, how could you not rank an album high that has Shipbuilding on it and Pills and Soap? I mean, classic songs like that. And the horns were fun. Just a lot of good tunes on there. Number 8. Nick Lowe comes back into production after having left a while, and I'm just thinking how when we get to the bottom here, we're going to see how all the Nick Lowe produced records did fairly well. I think, no, I was going to say we're Nick Lowe all the way out, but that's not quite true. But Nick Lowe came back in '86 to produce Blood and Chocolate. Just a fantastic record. The Attractions rockin'. It was the last record that they did before they took a little bit of a hiatus. Man, so many good things on here, and again, this is one that'll get you rocking. Now, and this one's we're at number 8, and I know a lot of people are going to give me number 7. A lot of people are going to give me a hard time on this because I know for a lot of people it's number 1, but here on out it gets really tough to rank these albums. I'm just going to kind of look at these to myself here and say to myself, every one of these in my book is an absolute 5-star record. Number 7 for me is Get Happy. 20 songs crammed together here. Elvis kind of showing us his love for soul music, and gosh, I mean, it's just some really great stuff written on here. 20 songs. He was studying soul records that he was picking up at a record shop in Camden Town. Did a few great covers on here. Just a brilliant record. And I mean, the bonus disc actually had 10 extra songs, so 30 songs. So he was really spitting them out back then. Next, and I'm not good at counting it, although that's my profession in life. We're at to number 6, and again, I think a lot of people are going to put this one higher. But again, in my book, it's a 5-star record. Imperial Bedroom. I mean, just such a classic. Working with the late great Jeff Emmerich, who had worked with the Beatles. I mean, just so many signature songs here. Beyond Belief, Man at a Time, Almost Blue. Just a brilliant record. Just Elvis moving into this new lush, very sophisticated sound, and just some of the best music the Attractions have ever played. We're down to the top 5 now. For me, just a record, I mean, I just find it hard not to love it. That's Trust. And I think that the thing I always love about Trust, I think it's some of the lesser known songs on here that really get your attention. Things like You'll Never Be a Man and Pretty Words. We forget it, but we think about songs like Clubland and Watch Your Step, New Lace Sleeves, all great songs, but just some great clever writing on this one, Trust. Number 4, the debut, My Aim Is True, not with the Attractions, with a California band called Clover. This is the one that started for us, probably the greatest debut album in history. I'd stand on Bob Dylan, well, whoever, the old expression, I'd jump on your coffee table and scream and tell you that. But yeah, it's such, from song to song, it just really had it all and really showed up this guy was going to matter in the music world. Number 3, this may be a surprise for you, but sneaking right in here, King of America at number 3. What a fantastic record, recorded with a lot of different session players. right around the same time as Blood and Chocolate was recorded. You know, I don't think Elvis gets enough credit that he should have for what this record did, I think, in setting the Americana movement in motion. It was a brilliant record in terms of getting that sophisticated folk country vein. I think that's sort of where Americana is today. Just some of his best songs, some of his best singing, some of the best playing. What a great band that was. And when he toured together with this and Blood and Chocolate, we're talking about the best tour that any artist has ever done, period. Number 2, this year's Model, the second album, recorded really quickly after My Aim Is True, but the first record with the Attractions, and I'll tell you something, they were just on fire. I know they modeled themselves a little bit after the Rolling Stones Aftermath record. I think if you listen, you can hear the similarity, but just fierce playing, great songwriting. I mean, you know, we're talking about, you know, Radio, Pump It Up, all these classic songs, song after song. This could have been easily number 1. However, the mood I'm in today, the mood I've been in lately, I am such a power pop freak, and one of the best pop music records ever put together. Number 1, my favorite Elvis Costello album of the moment is Armed Forces. I mean, just song after song, we talk about the influence of ABBA and people like that. I mean, come on, Accidents Will Happen, Oliver's Army, Green Shirt, Moods for Moderns, and Chemistry Class, Two Little Hitlers, the American version of including Peace, Love, and Understanding, Nick Lowe song, a great song. Just a fantastic record, Armed Forces, and this is the American cover. I don't think we've got. Let's see if we got inside. Yep, there's the British cover with the elephants. But again, I still think you should own every one of these records. And this was kind of fun. I'd like to hear your comments on what you think. Just be kind. I know there's a lot to go through. I don't think I was too brutal on any of these. And like I said, if I did it tomorrow, I'd probably come up with a different answer. But thanks for letting me do this. Thanks for listening. It was fun.